he started shaking and he couldn't move. He's a Leon. I now fully understand that we may have something negative happening in our house. I'm like, well, could be, So we went there, and this is one of those cases where the demon got attached to her when she was early in age and waited till she was in her late 50s to actually start the attack. I asked her a lot about her past, and one thing that caught my eye is that when she was 19, her aunt passed away. And after her aunt passed away, she was driving down the road like in her car, and her aunt appeared to her on the passenger side seat and just commenced to having a conversation with the client. And then the client started talking back, and I asked the client, "Do you see anything wrong with that?" She said, "No, I'm just talking to my aunt." I said, "Honey, what happened is that you started talking to a demon, and just by that conversation alone, you gave that demon permission to be in your life." And it waited and waited. See, her father-in-law was her father figure. She never really had a father figure. When he passed away, she took it really, really hard. And then that was the moment it started attacking her. But it did it in means to where it thought people wouldn't catch on. It went in the guise of medical problems. So during the deliverance, I brought out some sacramentals, and it didn't react to all my sacramentals except for one, the blessed salt. I put blessed salt in her hand, and she started convulsing like she was having seizures. But then we was able to successfully, with the help of God, to push it out. And when it left her, she did what I call a reset. Her eyes rolled back, her body kind of shifted back a little bit, and when she came back straight, it was her again. And she said, "When are we going to start?" I'm like, honey, we've been doing this for 2 hours. She's like, "Oh my goodness." So then after that, we did the house, and it gave us a sign of departure well before we even started the expulsion. They hadn't had any more problems in the past 3 years. So, that was a really, really good case. That was a case that showed me that maybe I needed to dig deeper into these case requests, because that could have been really, really easily missed.
Right.
So, when you have a situation like that, this person opened herself up to these demonic forces by speaking to what she thought was a dead loved one, which we know that demons will come in all sorts of manners, children and otherwise, and that they are waiting for a chance to become part of their life. So wouldn't you think, if we, going back to our original subject with the group trying to conjure, if you will, a more powerful demonic spirit in order to take down a lesser, if you will, demonic spirit, that just totally opens up that entire family.
Yes.
Every type of negative and demonic and nasty spirit that there can be, right?
Yes, absolutely. And also, when you look at the team itself, right now they may not be suffering the repercussions of what they're doing, but these demons, they come for payment. Let's put it this way. So if, let's say, they so-called sent this demon to do the bidding, right? These people think that what they're doing is free. They freely send these demons, but no, they come back for payment. They come back to get what is owed, and sometimes it's their soul. So what these people are doing, what they don't understand, and what I'm afraid of is quickly they will be understanding that what they're doing is not only putting the client in danger, but ultimately ruining their lives.
Sure. Maybe if you thought of it in this manner, maybe they're actually recruiting.
Maybe.
Recruiting souls, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're conjuring these demons, sending out to do their bidding because they've already given their prize, if you will, to these demons, and have already said, I'm for Satan and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Because you can't just walk into a room, and I know this from past experience. You can't just walk into a room, draw a circle, light some candles, and here's a demon, and say, okay, you go do this for me. And that demon's going to say, sure, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it doesn't work that way. Sorry.
No. No. It has to involve some kind of sacrifice. I don't care if they sacrifice their soul. Many years ago, I had a case in South Carolina, and I'll never forget this. And I'm still friends with these people, and she's still suffering backlashes from her past. She was a former satanic high priestess, and there's a lot of things that she told me that I can't repeat here on air. But needless to say, these things, and she told me point blank, these things do not freely do what you asked them to do. She said, trust me, there's always a payday. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, I think she's suffering the consequences now. We've been over there like many, many times, and she is a converted Christian. She is on fire for God. But sometimes these things leave scars. And sometimes these things don't forget who you are and who you were. And right now, she's in my prayers like every day. She's battling, and when I mean battling, I mean she's battling hardcore with breast cancer, and she's going through radiation. She's going through chemotherapy, and sometimes every day, every morning, and every night, I make a point to do my prayers, and she is one of the ones that is always in my prayers, and whenever I got a list of people I'm praying for, and when I get to her name, every time I go back to her story, go back to her life, and what she's battled through, and what she came out of. It's not easy coming out of Satanism. It's not easy at all. We were working with her for years and years. And we finally got her to a point to where I said, honey, look, I don't care how much you have verbally said that I give myself to God. I said, in order for you to fully understand this, you got to have a relationship with God. And she said, how do I do that? I said, honey, chit chat with him like he's one of your best friends. The more you do that, the more you will actually either hear that little small, still voice talk back to you, or actually answer you. Or sometimes when you're having just a crappy day, that little, small, still voice will be there to comfort you. I said, have you ever had that? She said, no. I said, I know Satanism is tangible. It's a power that you think you have. I said, but what you don't understand with Christianity is faith and faith alone. And that is one of the most powerful things that you can have if you fully understand what you have. And once we unbrainwashed her, let's put it that way, she started understanding, what it is to be loved by God, and you can actually start seeing her smile. Right now through her battling chemotherapy and radiation, she does it with a smile. And sometimes when I think about it, I get really teary-eyed and I just break down and cry. But that lady has battled through so much. She's still standing tall.
That's great. We need more people like that, because there's so many people lost to demonic forces, and they allow this. They allow these things in every day. Choices they make, things they say, even things they watch. And this is how people become infested. To be infested is actually pretty simple. To being possessed is what's hard. You have to fully give your heart to be possessed, just like you have to fully give your heart to be a person of God. And so these people that are preaching this crap, like this group, and I'm going to keep referring back to this group. You guys forgive me, but the more and more I think about it, the more and more it ticks me off. And they're spreading pollutants, and I'm so glad that they are, at least as far as I know, they're not doing any business.
Yes, and they are officially disbanded.
I would love to know if there was any type of client that they had that actually paid them any money.
Well, it's funny. I don't think. And you know what? The first day that your friends brought this out, I think that was the first day they officially came about. And within 24, 48 hours, they have no more group. So I think it was the will of God for them to be brought out into the open. So I wouldn't say ridiculed, but brought down to reality. And he even told me that he needs to reassess what they're actually doing. I'm like, well, that's a good thing.
Well, absolutely.
Yeah. He said maybe.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
He said maybe us putting out there that we wanting money for our services, maybe that wasn't the best thing to do. I'm like, I'm starting to use your head now. So yeah.
You know what really got me? I was reading some of the reviews and stuff on their page, and even the Satanists out there were ridiculing them and going, "You guys are stupid for what you're doing." And so when the Satanists sit back and tell the other supposed Satanists that you guys are stupid, you can't control those demons like that.
Yeah.
Maybe they did back up and listen even to them.
Yeah.
And I know God will use even those people in order to get a message out to someone that needs it.
That's right. Yeah. I believe you. Right now in my studies, I'm in the philosophy, and there is a lot of the Christian faith that comes from philosophy. There's a lot of, like Plato and Aristotle, that were pagans, and I'm a firm believer with you. We can learn a lot, even from them. From people that don't really believe the way that you believe, and you can look at how they do things and what they think, and take that and say, how can I better what I do here? you know, and I